What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Do you play Dungeon Crawl Classics? Well, based upon the sales at Goodman Games last month, there's a good chance you do. Also, looking at the views on my previous Dungeon Crawl Classics content, I know that a lot of my viewers really enjoy what I have to share on that game. So, Dungeon Crawl Classics is a great game. It's one of my favorites. But once you've sailed the Starless Sea and you've seen the portal under the stars, you've had halflings enlarged to 30 feet and smash towns, it can get a little bit samey after a while. What other options do you have with Dungeon Crawl Classics? What ways can you more gonzo the game that is already so gonzo to begin with? Or what different takes are there on it? Well, today I'm going to share some of my favorite ways to play Dungeon Crawl Classics that are not in the core rulebook. So this is going to be my top 5 Dungeon Crawl Classics variants. Let's get into it.
We'll follow your lead, Star-Lord.
Bitterbow!
Alright, I'm going to get started today with True Vigilante Gunzo. This is a zine by Bloat Games. Of course, Eric from Bloat Games creates a lot of these little small form factor RPGs. And one of them that has been adapted to a couple of different core rule sets is Vigilante City. This, of course, was one of the starter worlds in the Index Card RPG, the new deluxe edition of that. He also has his own Survive This Vigilante City rule set, and he has several different expansions to that. And those would be handy for fleshing out this game if you decide to get into this. But this is strictly for DCC, this one is. And so with this slim little zine, which is $10, and you get the PDF with that too, I believe, you get some nice artwork. The inside is all going to be black and white, but the front and back covers have some color in them. And you get a very basic set of rules addendum that allow you to play street level superheroes. So you're talking like Batman, Robin, Nightwing, probably up to like Punisher level type heroes. You get some great classes that work really well. They seem pretty balanced. You get some interesting equipment to bring up DCC to a modern era. You get some specialty items for the Gadgeteer class. And then you get a funnel, which I think is great because that's really leaning into what makes DCC great. And I'll just give you a random class here. So this is the Martial Artist. The Martial Artist has its attack die as such. This is going to be basically like a mighty deed for a warrior in DCC. You get your progression here on your saving throws and your action dice, your critical tables, and it tells you what kind of weapons the martial artist is good at. They don't wear armor, so they get a bonus to their AC naturally. They get a special awareness ability, and then they can use their luck points to make sure that their attacks do maximum damage. So all the classes work similar to this, so they're going to be very familiar to you if you have played Dungeon Crawl Classics enough. Deed dies are used in some of them, and it's definitely not in-depth. It's not going to add a lot of complexity to the game, but it's going to add enough flavor to make you feel like you're playing a Heroes game. And then you get this great comic book font. You get a whole adventure back here, like I said, a funnel. And this is True Vigilante Gunzo by Eric Bloat of Bloat Games. And like I said, if you do get into this and you want to get a little bit more in depth, he's got a number of different expansions for his own version of Vigilante City for his own core rules. And that would help flesh this out as well. If you watched my video on Palladium games last week, you know that I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. And I love this book, but not because the rule set is the most clean or the most accessible to players that have not played in the Palladium system. But the character creation is chef's kiss. That is why Bronx Beasts is an amazing addition to the DCC options. Bronx Beasts takes the best aspects of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness character creation and simplifies them down to a level where they would fit right into the core DCC concept of what rules should look like, and still gives you the variability that you got from the Palladium system for building mutant animals. And they actually have 100 different animal options in here, just like the Palladium system, where you get to use Bio-E to evolve your mutant animal to be more human-like, to give it bipedal legs, to give it hands that are able to manipulate complex objects, to give it speech. All of those same options are here. It's very clear that they took their inspiration heavily from the Palladium system for creating characters. But then they've simplified the rules and just overlaid them on the DCC system, which is a great system. And so with that, Bronx Beasts allows you to realize your unfulfilled dreams of getting your current game group to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness in a system that is much more manageable, much more balanced, and probably going to be appreciated a lot more by modern gamers. Bronx Beasts is a zine, and it says $5 on here, and I think that's what I paid for it, actually. So this is a great one to pick up if you ever want to try playing Ninja Turtles in the Dungeon Crawl Classics universe. Okay, this one's a little bit more mainstream. This is the Langmar box for Dungeon Crawl Classics. This is a Goodman Games release, and I have talked about it a little bit before, but I do want to stress how great an option this is. It also does change the rules around enough regarding luck, regarding the lack of clerics and healing, and just the boons that you can get for your characters that give them a little bit of extra oomph, a little bit of extra character. Those things really make it feel much, much more like the Fritz Leiber Langmar books. You can really capture the spirit of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser with this box set. It's got an adventure included in it. It's got some great maps. It's got some great tools for the judge to be able to build neighborhoods in Langmar. And like I said, it's got the fleeting luck mechanic that adds a little bit more to your game in the moment. And I think this would be a great pickup for anybody that wants to take a different spin on swords and sorcery, get a little bit grittier, a little bit less Gunzo maybe, and a little bit more kind of grounded in that Fritz Leiber style sword and sorcery. So that's why Dungeon Crawl Classics Langmar is a great way to spin your DCC game. It also has several other releases that you can pick up for it, so you're never going to run out of content. There are, I think, 13 or 14 different releases for this version of Dungeon Crawl Classics right now, and they're ever expanding. Okay, so this is another zine. This is Crawling Under a Broken Moon. And so this game is pretty great. It actually takes a different spin on the post-apocalyptic sci-fi than what Mutant Crawl Classics does. It actually can reproduce He-Man or Thunder the Barbarian fairly well. You can do Mad Max stuff in this. It's got some really over-the-top weird stuff like a clown cannibal that is very reminiscent of Ronald McDonald. This is also available in a newer version called Umerica, and there's several releases under that name. But I actually like this. I think Reed Sanfilippo is the name of the author. And this one is a little bit less polished, but probably a little bit more carefree in some of the stuff he includes. The Kingdom of Etheria, that's obviously an homage to Master of the Universe. And you can actually have an Etherian character. You got the art here clearly is a spoof on Masters of the Universe. There's all sorts of different areas of the Crawling Under a Broken Moon world in here. There's adventures, there's several classes, there's equipment, there's different rules on armor, and overall, this is an amazing value for 20 bucks. You can pick this up to, it might be 30, 20 or 30 bucks. You can pick this up. It's got 18 issues of a zine all in one book, and it has everything that you would need to run a very long post-apocalyptic game in Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's got your monsters, your heroes, your equipment, magic, psionics. It's got the whole bit. It's got some really cool stuff in there. But this is a great spin on Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's going to be different than the type of Gunzo that you're used to, but it's still going to be way Gunzo. Okay, so this is my top spot here, and this is Weird Frontiers. I was a late backer on this Kickstarter, and it did take a while to get the final product, but oh, what a final product it is. I mean, this is over 800 pages of beast of a book, and it's now actually available through the Goodman Games store. You can pick up this hardcover. It is a bit pricey, but like I said, it's 800 pages. What do you expect? It's got the Smithsonian ribbon and all that good stuff, at least in the copy that I got from the Kickstarter. I assume that the others are going to be like that as well. They've got great artwork in here. Got the fancy end papers in the book that are basically effectively a judge's screen. There's some really cool artwork in here. There are some really interesting characters. You can be a martial artist, you can be a luchador, you can be a Tommyknocker, you can be a gunslinger, a gambler. There's all sorts of really neat stuff in here. There is a ton of world building and explanation of how the West became weird in this particular incarnation. It does a great job of building upon DCC rules. This is going to be one that will work great for any group that is really into Westerns and that is okay with a little bit of added crunch. Some of the things, the alignment system changes in this one. It's a little bit more involved, but it's got some benefits to that too. There's a few different magic systems in this that are a little bit different than the Dungeon Crawl Classics magic, but that is going to be the majority of the book, are the tables for those spells of the different types. There are some really cool world building materials in this game. It has your monsters in here, at least some ideas for that. And it's got some great concepts. There's your skinwalkers. So this is going to be a distinct departure from medieval Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is going to allow you to do Weird West in a way that is all of the strange Cthulhu experience that you would want, but with that Dungeon Crawl Classics rule set underbedding it. So this is Weird Frontiers by David Beatty, and I would highly suggest you pick this up for your group if you're looking for a different take on Dungeon Crawl Classics, a different way to play it. This actually is considered a standalone, but I would suggest picking up DCC to go with it if you haven't, because you can use spells and items and things as artifacts in this game that are, and you can use the monsters and stuff in both games. But Weird Frontiers by David Beatty, great spin on your Dungeon Crawl Classics game. So if you did enjoy the content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.